Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody, and I'm sure we're going to get more turning up as well as we proceed. This is a very informal meeting. Mohammed and I will talk to you about a number of things that have been happening over the past year. And if you would like to ask a question or make a comment, don't hold back. Please put a message in the chat, either to ask to speak or to just type in a question which we can put to maybe the people in Gaza if you wish to do that. Also, there is the putting the hand up routine if you would like to speak. Okay, so it's very informal. We're going to make it up as we go along, really, this meeting. I'd like to start really with a topical news item, which is Turkey and Syria, northern Syria, which, as you all will know, has been suffering a terrible catastrophe with the earthquake. Now, PTC UK has got this team in Gaza of people who are very experienced in crisis management. And I'd like Mohammed to tell us a little bit about what this team have been doing recently with regard to this terrible disaster in the Middle East. Yeah. I think that what's important about that is it shows one of the important aspects of PTC UK, which is outreach programs, which is the sharing of expertise throughout the Arab world, if possible. And here is an example of that. Mohammed, could you tell us a bit about what has been happening there?
Okay, just let me share one of the posters so I can just go through it together. So just to talk about, before I go to what we are doing, just I want to share with you what we have intervention program in Gaza. We have three main areas or aspects. We are try to help the people in Gaza, whether they have the crisis or not. So we have the therapeutic program, which is family therapy, play therapy, and trauma-focused CBT. And the other aspects, which is psychosocial support, including self-care, like SANIT. SANIT is something very easy. Could the teacher use it or anyone from the community, just with some light training? And of course, the psychologists use it, especially with the kids and with adults, is very good, and with families. Focusing is very important one. Can be used with the children, with families. It's a lifestyle, really. It was a big gift. And here, I just want to thank Jerry and Rob for their support to us to develop this focusing, and the University of Birmingham and the Focusing Institute in New York for their input and supervision and support. Days of Joy is in the street. As many of you know about the Days of Joy, you usually used to be Friday of Joy, but now we do 2 days of the week, which allow us to say Days of Joy. Hopefully we'll have full days of the week, not 2 days, if we have more funds. The other aspects which we are talking and linked with Turkey and what's happening in the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, it's emergency and rapid response. That's happened, and to be honest, we started this in March. I remember this date. It was invasion in northern Gaza in March 2008. PTC was established in 2007, January, but after a year, we have a bad invasion in the northern area of Gaza. And I discussed this with the team in Gaza, what we should do. They said, yeah, we should help the people, especially after they've been people displaced and they've been in the shelter, in the UNRWA school, governmental school. So we try to develop emergency and rapid response. So from there, we develop our experience. We have lots of techniques and to how to use the physical relief, psychological first aid, and that's very important. One of the other items we use, we developed this new, I should add it here, so it's about sport counseling. It's very, very, very useful and very attractive approach. So that's in general. So that will take us to the next slides. Just make it bigger for you to see it more. So that's what we used to do. From second day of the earthquake, we contacted the people in Syria, and there's some people already in Turkey, Syrian people, and they already set up some group to support the psychologists, especially, and to work with them if they need some seminars. So the first thing, we share materials. We have lots of good materials about psychological first aid and how we intervene when the people being displaced and they've been safe away from the rebels. So how do we could do? So we did quite so far now about 3 seminars, and today it's the 3rd seminar. We try to target the psychologists. Some people graduated from psychology because, you know, the crisis is huge. So it's good to activate as many as the people. So even not just psychologists, there's some things for also teachers, for community figures, they could intervene and help. So that's also, we have experience on that, and tell people about next one, about hotline services. Already we opened this. If someone needs really help and psychological or counseling or any sort of advice, we are here. So we send the referral to the team and we work it out. So we started to receive some people, they already lost, they have big loss, and we could help them because, you know, yesterday one of the Syrians, they said, we learn from you. You have a long experience, and I think the best people, you could give us experience and advice how we could intervene and help. So they already said very good words about our experience. Is not some things we should be very proud, but it's a huge, you know, cross generation. But this is how we live, and we need to overcome and deal with it, even when it's disaster and very bad. But we are, me and the team in Gaza and some of the team in the UK, happy to help in any way we could. So for me, I already volunteer, and the team in Gaza volunteer to help, and we already opened the hotline services for consultation. Seminar for psychologists, there's many of people, they are working now in the front line and they are speaking Arabic. So we share with them if they need any support with materials, with experience, with supervision, and Dr. Omar, Dr. Saeed, Dr. Yahya, and myself. And if we need some of our team here in the UK, we could have also consultation and run a course. The other one, it's about sharing a platform, Zoom. Like yesterday, we have about more than 400 people, and we have a huge platform on Zoom. Not today, we've been using this for more than 1.5 years, and we developed a big group of psychologists from Qatar, from Gulf states, Yemen, and going to Middle East, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, Sudan, till Morocco, and Somal, and all these countries, and Tunisia, of course. So we have about 10,000 people in our group. So we have 20 platform, which we call it WhatsApp. So now we are lucky, the WhatsApp increase. You could accommodate about 1,024 people in each WhatsApp. So we have 20 group on WhatsApp. So at the moment we have nearly about 10,000. So we keep giving them courses, like 4 seminars every month. But because we are approaching Ramadan now, we have a rest. But now we use it for about because of the earthquake in Syria and in Turkey. So that's all, David, for these, about what you asked me to share.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I ask if anybody's got any questions, I think it's worth pointing out, if you listen to the BBC News or the mainstream media, the enormous detail they go into about what the individuals are suffering. If they are, for example, dealing with a home that has been destroyed and they're having to pull people out of the rubble, etc., etc. We're hearing lots of detail about that. You never hear it in that amount of detail when Gaza is bombed. It just struck me listening to all of that, but if you want an idea of the expertise that the people in Gaza have gained as a result of having to be resilient under bombardment, you've got some idea of how useful they can be for these people in Turkey and Syria. Would anybody like to make a comment or ask any questions on that particular topic? Andrew, yes, go ahead, unmute and go ahead.
I mean, it sounds from what you're saying as though you've got people actually from Gaza in Turkey, Syria. But that's surely not true, is it?
They've got what from Gaza?
It sounds as though you've got people actually from Gaza working in Syria, Turkey.
No.
No.
This is all done online. It's all virtual. It's either WhatsApp or, I mean, Mohammed will correct me, but it's either WhatsApp or Zoom.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Clarifying.
Just generally about...
Jill wanted to ask David.
Who? Sorry.
Jill.
Okay, yeah. Jill, yeah.
Yes, just wondered, I might have missed it. You probably did explain, Mohammed, but what does SAND mean? And also TF-CBT? That was under the therapeutic program.
Yeah, SAND means, in Arabic, SAND means support.
Oh.
But in professional way, we use like techniques to be accessible for anyone, for like psychologists, for parents to use easily with the children, with families, with the groups. Very easy and very accessible techniques. We call it SAND because it's easy for the people in Arabic to know what SAND means. But in English, yeah, you're right, it's not quite clear. That's SAND, yeah? Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
And the other one is called TF-CBT. TF-CBT, very well known, and the professional one being licensed by NICE in this country. It's called trauma-focused CBT. CBT stands for cognitive behavioral therapy. So these EMDR and TF-CBT very licensed and very well known, and yeah, the psychologists everywhere, they use it, especially with the trauma. Very effective, very powerful.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'd like to shift our focus now, please. And Mohammed, maybe perhaps you could help me with this. I'd like to ask our people from Gaza to say anything that they would like to say to us here in the UK about what life is like there at the moment for you. You have got a very, very difficult time of year where it can be, I know, suddenly cold, very cold indeed. You have very little electricity, which means that heating houses is extremely difficult. You have risks, dangers of flooding. I know that happens around this time of the year. We've got Adil, Omar, Eman, Yahya, Ahmed. I wonder if you could repeat my question in Arabic, Mohammed, and see if they've got anything to tell us about what life is like there in Gaza at the moment.
جماعة أهل العرب، ديفيد بيسأل يعني كيف الحياة هناك مع نقص الكهرباء والحياة والظروف الصعبة، كيف أنتم هناك، يعني حابب يسمع منكم.
Yeah, Dr. Omar.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Of course, the life in Gaza is, as usual, very difficult. very, very difficult. The people are suffering all the day, all the time in their life, economically, politically, socially. We have very difficult situation, economical situation, difficult because of siege here in Gaza. Already Gaza under siege since 15 years ago. We have lack of many things, medications, very basic things are we miss it, and the general condition is really difficult because we have bad electricity, we have problems in clean water even, in the borders and traveling, and everything in our daily living is really very bad. So we are feeling the suffering of the people in Syria and Turkey. We feel when you have no electricity, we have the same experience we had before during wars. Many people homeless, they lost their homes. So really, we are now following the news of Syrian and Turkish, and day by day, and we knew their suffering when they are at the street without home and without food and looking for basic things. Maybe the life is in Gaza is similar, but not in crisis, in everyday life, really. Because we have till now we have people without home, homeless. They lost their houses during wars. Well, you know, Gaza during 15 years, about 4 wars, yeah, undergoes bombardment and destroying houses and everything. So we hope so we can provide some help for the people there from our experience. Maybe it is very small help. Yeah, this is our resources. Yeah, maybe we look for go there and help them on the ground. But maybe our resources is very limited, so we try to provide some help within our resources.
Thank you.
شكرا دكتور عمر.
I hope the team are well. I hope the team are coping.
As Dr. Omar mentioned, you know, even the crisis is huge in Turkey, but you know, there will be lots of attention and people, they will take care. And as David, you mentioned already in the beginning, if something's happened like a crisis and man-made, not like natural, they don't point it out. And even people come out of the rubble, they don't even, BBC for example, don't bring it and put it on their website.
Oh, somebody's got their hand up, Mohammed.
يا أحمد
أحمد.
عبد الجليل. تفضل أحمد.
هلو. بخصوص موضوع الكهرباء في غزة، للأسف احنا يعني بالحياة العامية بنعاني جدا من نقص ساعات وصل التيار الكهربائي في قطاع غزة. هذا بيأثر على حياتنا الشخصية والعامة في قطاع غزة. للأسف يعني من أبسط الأشياء اللي احنا بنعاني فيها في فصل الشتاء، يعني الآن المنخفض الجوي برد قارس طبعا. موضوع مهم جدا هو موضوع توفير المياه السخنة. للأسف الشديد مع انقطاع التيار الكهربائي ما بنقدرش نوفر المياه، وللأسف إنه إحنا بنعاني في غزة بموضوع الكهرباء منذ سنوات، وللأسف ما فيش أي حل يعني من فترة طويلة. وهذا كتير بيعوق علينا موضوع التدفئة. يعني إحنا في فصل الشتاء الآن للأسف التدفئة يعني ممكن نستخدم الفحم والنار، أما موضوع إنه نشغل دفاية ما فيش كهرب، يعني على مدار أسبوعين متواصلين بتجينا الكهرب ساعتين فقط لا غير بشكل متواصل. فهذا بيضطر إنه الثلاجة بتفصلها، الخضرة ممكن تتلف، الأشياء الموجودة أساسيات البيت. فهذا على الحياة العامة. أما بحياة الشغل صراحة بس بزيد التكلفة التشغيلية لأي عمل، لأي مؤسسة، لأي مشروع تجاري. فبصير عندك زيادة التكلفة، وهذا الصراحة الإشي مش متوفر في غزة. عندنا في غزة في حاجة اسمها المولدات البديلة اللي بتوفر الكهرباء، مولدات الشوارع، لكن للأسف هذه تكلفتها كتير عالية. أغلب الناس ما بتتمكن إنها تشبك منه. يعطيكم العافية.
شكرا يا أحمد. Ahmed just tried to talk about the electricity and the severe lack of electricity as a chronic problem in Gaza, and it's affect badly on most of the aspects of the life in Gaza. And at the moment there's very cold weather, as you know, we are in the winter like you, and hot water is not available that much. So you need to try to find different resources, like use the wood and firewood and other, because you know electric things, or they don't have central heating in Gaza to warm their houses. And this is, you know, is not like today. And sometimes you will be lucky if you have electricity coming to your house more than 2 hours in continuation. So that sometimes come like 2 hours, and then after 6 or 10 hours, they might come another 1 hour or 2 hours. So always is not in constant supply for the electricity. And imagine if you have a fridge, the items and the vegetables and especially the meat, you know, always when I ask for example, my relatives, I asked them, why you don't keep the meat inside? They said, well, no fridge. How will keep the meat inside the fridge? Because of the problem of the electricity. And sometimes they use the generator, and from the street generator, which sometimes risky use. And sometimes people, you have to pay money for to link with some local big generator in the area, and like where you live in the corner, you might find some from your neighborhood. They will give you, but that will also increase the cost and expenses for your household as a household. And in general, Ahmed said this: the lack of the electricity will affect badly also people. They have, like, you know, jobs or industry, they have like projects or something, they will increase the cost, and that will keep you like in insecure, not in safe for your or even for your business. So that's in summary. Shukran, Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. You see, we need to understand that what PTC can give you people in the UK is the blow-by-blow account of what ordinary people like us over there are going through every day, living perhaps in a house where they can only burn wood to produce heat or hot water, where the walls are damp, covered in soot, and the health problems that result from that. You may have noticed in the report, which I sent out to all of you, that one of the case studies I put right at the beginning is about the effect of unemployment and what that does to the family dynamic, what it does to the breadwinner, the male. And it's quite a patriarchal society, so that's all quite important to consider. How that can lead to all kinds of behavioral and mental health problems inside the family. And we know how terrible the unemployment situation is in Gaza. So you look at that little example and you multiply it several hundred times. Okay, so those are the details which I hope you will find useful and interesting. I'm wanting to keep our focus on PTC Gaza right now, Mohammed. I will move to PTC UK very soon, but I wonder if this is the time to show the short film, about one of the projects. Would that be all right? It's about the focusing project for the disabled. No, sports project.
Sports project.
The sports project for the disabled. As you know, PTC specializes in using physical activity as well as talking therapies. And this has been, I think, one of our best, one of their best, I should say. And I think the film is self-explanatory. I don't need to say any more. Let's see if we can watch it. It's a very recent film.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنا أخوكم بالله الجريح محمد مثقال البحطيطي، وصبت خلال مشاركتنا السلمية في مسيرة العودة في سنة 2018-14-5 وأدى إلى عملية بتر بعد الإصابة بسنة. الضغط هذا عامل عندنا ضغط نفسي خلانا نعمل مشاكل مع الأهل. ما كانش الواحد يقدر يتحكم في أعصابه، ما كانش الواحد حتى يقدر يتملك أعصابه في أغلب الأحيان. ما كانش الواحد عنده فكرة كيف بده يتصرف مع أمه، مع زوجته، مع أولاده، مع المجتمع بشكل عام، مع نظرة المجتمع. فكان فيش يعني كان في افتقار لموضوع الدعم النفسي من قبل المؤسسات الأهلية الموجودة عندنا في قطاع غزة. فتواصل معي شباب أصحاب الحمد لله رب العالمين، تمكنا نوصل من على المكان هذا، أو هم إذا بيساعدونا في الموضوع هذا ترتيب زيارات ميدانية لأخصائي الدعم النفسي للبيوت، وبالذات مش للمصاب، لأهل المصاب، الدائرة المغلقة عنده، يعني الأم، الزوجة، الأخ، الأخت، لتوفير الدعم النفسي في بعض الأحيان، لأنه المصاب بشوف شغلات بتعز عليه نفسه في شغلات كتير، فهذا بيأثر عنده للضغط النفسي، ممكن يسبب عنده سكر، ضغط، قلب. فهذا المواضيع المزمنة. الرياضة الترفيهية اللي تعرضنا إلها في الفترة هذه للأمانة كانت فكرة الرياضة بطريقة فكاهية، تنميتها أو تطويرها إنه تكون مايلة للترفيه أكتر، للكوميديان أكتر. فهذا بحد ذاته بخفف من الضغط النفسي اللي موجود عندنا بشكل عام ككل. فإحنا اللي بنطالبه منهم توسيع الدائرة هذه تشمل أكثر من محافظة من غزة، توسيع الفئات تشمل أكثر الناس مع الذكور، توسيع المشروع إنه يكون يشمل المصابين من ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة أو الحالات المصابة بالاحتياجات الخاصة المتلازمة الداون. الشغلة الثانية اللي أنا بطالب فيها الشق المعنوي أو الشق الدعم النفسي اللي أهم من هذا كله، لأنه إذا كانت نفسية الواحد كويسة ممكن يتنامى عنده، يصير في تنامى في القدرات. فيش معاق، في مجتمع معيق. تلتين اللي بموت في الأيام هذه، تلتين اللي بموت من الاسترس، الضغط النفسي. خلص بتحمل مرة 2 3 4 أكتر من هيك ما فيش. الإنسان منا برضو عنده طاقة تحمل، إذا خرجت عن السيطرة ممكن يصير عنده حاجات للأمانة لا إرادية تجبره يعمل حاجات مش صح.
لي مفطور 5 سنين. قلت النشاط الرياضي هذا ما مارستش الرياضة، وأنا كنت رياضي قبل الإصابة، ما مارستش الرياضة من 5 سنين. فأنا حبيت الفكرة وشيء وجيت هنا. طبعا كان في اللياقة البدنية، طبعا انبسطنا فيها وحبيناها، وقعدنا 8 جلسات. كنا حابين إن نضلنا على طول يعني نمارس الرياضة وشيء. وكان ودونا يوم على الجيم. في الجيم طبعا زي كانت راحة نفسية إلنا كبيرة، كنا إن ما مارسناش الرياضة من زمان. وطبعا إحنا في خلال جلساتنا هنا في المكان، لما دخلنا المكان من أول ما شفت المكان يعني لقيت الحمام موائم، المكان مهيأ للأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة. كون إحنا عندنا بتر بلزمنا لما بدنا ندخل نتوضأ أو بدنا ندخل الحمام إشي لازمنا مسكات وإشي. دخلت الحمام لقيته موائم مهيأ، فانبسطت كتير إن أنا يعني حاجة على المكان هذا ومش خجلان، لأنه المكان موائم إلي، بقدر أستخدم الحمام، أستخدم كل إشي في المكان. طبعا اجينا على الحبل هنا، يعني طبعا لو بقول لك عنده بتر طبعا بصعوبة انه يطلع الحبل، لكن الحمد لله بفضل المدربين هنا قدرنا نطلع على الحبل، ويعني انبسطنا، نفسيتي ارتاحت ان انا بقدر اطلع على الحبل وبقدر امارس حياتي بشكل طبيعي. وكان في هنا يعني زي ما تقول نفسية ارتاحت كثير مع الشباب، وسهل التواصل مع طبعا مع المدربين ومع الاشي. وكان في هنا يعني أنشطة ترفيهية كمان، أخذونا أنشطة ترفيهية اللي هو أخذونا على أرض وأجوا مهرجين وإشي، فانبسطنا معاهم كتير وانفعلنا كتير. حتى يعني أنا في طبيعتي خجول، ما بحبش يعني أختلط في الناس كتير، لكن في اليوم الترفيه هذا انبسطنا. كان في اللي هو علوش، هذا انبسطت عليه كتير، فكان يعني كروحه مرحة معانا وإشي، حتى إحنا يعني تفاعلنا معاه وانبسطنا.
اليوم تم اختتام دورة الدعم النفسي الرياضي للأشخاص ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة. شملت هذه الدورة 8 أنشطة رياضية وترفيهية وتدعيمية، إضافة لأنشطة الدراما ورحلة خلوية يوم سفاري. هذه الأنشطة التكاملية تهدف لخفض أعراض اضطراب كرب ما بعد الصدمة المزمن، والذي يعاني منه بعض سكان قطاع غزة نتيجة الحروب المستمرة، إضافة للعدوان الإسرائيلي والحصار المستمر منذ 15 عاما. أيضا تهدف هذه الأنشطة إلى تحسين مهارات التواصل الأسري وتدعيم الصمود النفسي لهذه الفئة، وحماية أسر ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة من التشتت والضياع. فبرنامج الدعم النفسي الرياضي قدم لهذه الفئة مهارات تدريبية عالية على رياضة الكونغ-فو بهدف تقوية عضلات أجسادهم، إضافة لمهارات اللياقة البدنية ومهارات الرعاية الذاتية. وهذا كله يتم تحت إشراف مباشر من الدكتور محمد الطويل من لندن. عبر المشاركون في هذه الدورة عن سعادتهم لهذا التكامل بين جوانب الشخصية المختلفة وبين الجهود التي يبذلها مركز فلسطين للصدمة بريطانيا معهم من مختلف جوانب النفسية والجسدية والاجتماعية والإغاثية والتدعيمية والوقائية أيضا. لذلك هذه دعوة لبذل المزيد من الجهود الممكنة لمواصلة الدعم لهذه الفئة ولأسرهم من خلال أولا الاستمرار في دعم فئات أخرى من ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة، لأنهم يعانوا معاناة أضعاف مضاعفة من معاناة الناس الطبيعيين أو السكان الآخرين في قطاع غزة. ثانيا أن يضمن الدعم مواصلة هذه الجهود لتخدم الجوانب النفسية والاجتماعية والتدعيمية والإغاثية لفئة ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة. ثالثاً توفير أقدام صناعية لبعض المبتورة أقدامهم ذات جودة عالية. رابعاً تأهيل مداخل البيوت ودورات المياه في بيوت المبتورة أقدامهم وأطرافهم من أجل تسهيل حركتهم داخل هذه البيوت، وحتى يشعروا أنهم يمكنهم الاستمرار بحياتهم كما باقي السكان. خامساً توفير سيارات كهربائية سكوتر من أجل تسهيل حركتهم خارج البيت. في الختام أود أن أشكر مركز فلسطين للصدمة بريطانيا على القيام بهذه الدورة والدورات المشابهة والأنشطة الأخرى المشابهة، والاهتمام بفئات المجتمع عامة وفئة ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة بشكل خاص، وكذلك مؤسسة إيد ونهار لمواصلتهم لدعم استمرار هذا البرنامج. ونسأل الله عز وجل أن يكلل استمرار هذه الجهود المبذولة من خلال هذا البرنامج والبرامج الأخرى بالتوفيق والنجاح.
Thank you for that. And I think we have Dr. Said here. I think he's here at the meeting, the man you saw giving the explanation towards the end. Am I right, Mohammed? I think he's here.
Yeah, I think he came, and maybe he's now, because he prepared himself. He has a seminar in 15 minutes. Will start. Maybe he went to prepare, because I'm holding my mobile phone to open the seminar for him. So now in two hands now I am.
Right. Would anybody like to ask any questions about what they've just seen on the film? Sarah?
Only to say how impressive that is, how wonderful to see the youth people being able to pick up those activities and feel more normal. And I'm not sure if I should know already, David, but are we funding that separately? I mean, it's obviously a lot of funds needed for, I mean, how are people getting the equipment in their bathrooms? And so where's that coming from, the funds? That's not from...
Well, no, that's not from PTC if they're getting equipment for their homes.
Where is that coming from?
The activities, the courses are funded by, they're part of the Days of Joy project.
Yeah.
We have 3 projects: family therapy, focusing, and Days of Joy, and that's where the sports
Well, I saw it. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Inspiring and wonderful that they're doing that. Very, very important, because they're important members of the family, and if they can maintain some hope and some feeling that they're going to contribute to the family life in the future, that's just so important.
Yeah. Did somebody else, Pat, did you want to ask a question or make a comment? No? Yes?
No, I was just going along with what was said, really. I just agree so much with what the last speaker said. It's wonderful work that you can see going on there.
My response is, first of all, in total agreement with what both of you have said. But secondly, outrage, of course. These young men having their young lives taken away from them by the brutality that we all know about. Which I think is something we ought to keep in mind, because we've got to think about what we're doing in the UK as part of our charitable work in terms of advocacy. And as many of you probably know, trying to get a platform for Palestine is becoming increasingly difficult. Now, one of the things that we've been trying to do over the years is to give talks, to give presentations. And so we've got Talk to Gaza, which normally gets between 50 and 60 people attending, which is really good, both in Gaza and over here and abroad. The other thing is that we are affiliated with the UK Palestine Mental Health Network, which is doing advocacy, very powerful advocacy, actually. In our own small way, we are, I hope, providing platforms for Palestine through our mental health speciality, but also, and I see Reem is here, and I'd just like to mention something that is being developed. Also, you may have noticed that in our report and on our website, we've got some magnificent photographs. There are some very, very talented photographers out there, and I kept on thinking we must have an exhibition of their wonderful work. Chris, you know about this as well. Some of them are outstanding. And Reem, who is here, along with Roy, Milani, and Mohammed and myself, we're trying to put together a virtual art exhibition. I've don't know, Reem, if you would like to say anything about that, or its progress, or what you think of it, or what the aims are. Is there anything you'd like to say at this point, just about that? One of our projects to give Palestine a platform.
Well, I can say very briefly, I mean, we really feel privileged actually to see these photographs in the first place, and then to have your trust to try and put them together and curate them to make an exhibition that actually tells a story, which showcases these pictures, but actually tells a story, and hopefully will have impact, and, you know, we'll be able to reach people. I think our biggest challenge is not making the virtual exhibition, which I think we've made some good progress, and you're helping us, you know, with more photographs as well. I mean, the big challenge will be making sure it gets seen. Yes. And so how we market it and how we make sure that it gets noticed.
Well, thank you. And there's a bit of a challenge for everybody who's attending here. If you can help us with that, do let me know, please. Any questions about that? Any comments or thoughts? Chris.
I'd like to talk to Reem at some point about it, please.
Okay.
With pleasure.
Yeah.
Maybe, David, you can connect us on email, and I'm very happy to chat further at some stage. Yeah. Well,
Chris could join one of our meetings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll let you know about one of our meetings, Chris, and you can join in.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay. Anything else? It's nice to get some bit of business done. Hilary.
Yeah, David. You talked about your gallery of pictures. I mean, are you connected with the British Palestine Town Twinning and Friendship Network?
We do know about them.
Well,
yes.
Anna will be another member. I mean, they've got their annual conference on the 18th of March in Derby, which I can't go to, but you should, if you've got something to publicize, I'm sure that would be a good connection.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, that's a good thought. I mean, we really are, in some sense, a twinning group, you know, specialists over here twinning with specialists over there. Just a quick, I'm going to see if I can share screen for just a moment. I hope, okay, is one participant share at a time? I don't know, Mohammed, can I share screen? Can everybody see that? That's our website.
Oh.
Okay, you just go Palestine Trauma Center, and you've got descriptions of who we are, what we do. I won't go through all of that. And descriptions of the projects. I'd like to draw your attention to the news site. What we've got up there, the latest thing we've got to here is the study done, a longitudinal study done by Mohammed and two others, I think, which you can download. Here we go. Can you download it? Yes, there you go. Okay, and those of you who want to see some of the technical stuff that's being done may well be interested in that. It is very important for us to have a professional level of interest. We're getting this from our association with Birmingham University and their Rights for Time project. They have been training some of our team inside Gaza, and they're doing research as well on the focusing project. Do check out our events. You'll notice that the online meeting that we're at the moment is up there, and our recent talk to Gaza, if you missed it, you will find it on YouTube and here as a link. You can click on that and watch that. That was a very, very good meeting, incidentally. So do have a look at our website. It's very professionally done. we've got some good breakdowns of the projects, and as I say, going on to news and events, you can get our latest news. So do have a look at that, okay? Screen sharing has stopped. Right, okay, that's the website. Right, well, we're moving up to the hour, really, and there's only one other thing perhaps I ought to mention, and that is to do with our finances. I thought perhaps you ought to see this. You can see our total income and our total expenditure. We're in a fairly healthy position at the moment. I say that with some hesitancy because at any point, as we found out in the past, we could have funding stopped. This is why all of you who have been helping with fundraising are so important. However small the amount might seem to you, it is certainly not small to us. Our main funder, as you can see from the incoming items, is a Muslim organization in this country called Muntada Aid. And they are providing the money at the moment for the basic project. We're very lucky to have them, and we hope that this association will continue. There's another Muslim group called 13 Rivers. We are also getting funding from Birmingham University for their project, Rights for Time. And then we've got these other groups, Brent Friends of Palestine, North Hearts, and St Albans Friends of Palestine, etc., Norwich as well. And that gives you an idea of how we're collecting funds from small groups and organizations. I haven't got the individual donors down there, but that gives you a rough idea. If you want a copy of this, you're very welcome to have it, or you can run this video again. Look at the expenditure, you can see where it all goes. We got a very, very good deal on the construction of the website last year. It pretty much pays for itself with the donations we get through the website. That is pretty much our entire expenditure that you can see there. Once again, I think it sort of speaks for itself. So if anybody wants a copy of that sent to them, you're very welcome, but that's entirely up to you. Okay, now, Mohammed, is there anything else we ought to go over?
If anything you ask me, I will, yeah, there's lots of things, but yeah, we keep it short, but if there's anything you want me to talk about, I'm happy.
Yes, Chris, what would you like to ask?
You were going to mention the journey to Rome.
Do you mean the Italy trip?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. That is, if you look on our website at the news section and just scroll down, you will see there our two of our clowns who were invited to join a clown in Italy to attend a conference there and also to have some training. Now, Mohammed, perhaps you can say a bit more about this, but it was, of course, very difficult for them to get out of Gaza. The way they go is through Egypt. And these two men who are in their 40s have never been out of Gaza, not really. They have never been on a train, never been on an aeroplane.
Yes.
And so it was an extraordinary experience for them.
Yes, I want to tell
sensational
you, like,
experience in many ways.
one joke out of this. When these two young people went out of Gaza, and they couldn't believe they are out of Gaza, and one of them said to the other, "Bite me, let me feel I am in the present time now. I'm not in the dream."
I was profoundly moved. I was profoundly moved by the whole thing of them going, and I wonder what was going through their hearts and their minds about all of that and returning. That moved me a lot.
They were wildly excited by it, and nervous initially, you know, but it's been a terrific experience for them. I mean, Mohammed does most of the organizing for all of that. In fact, he helped one of the focusing team a couple of years ago now to get out of Gaza and go to a conference. It's very, very hard work. So it won't happen often, unfortunately. But yes, the clowns really benefited. They're not just clowns, they're therapists. You've got to remember that. These are structured exercises as well as entertainment.
To see the joy of the children is amazing.
Yeah.
For a moment, for children to be allowed to be children, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, the expression that keeps popping up is bring a smile to their faces. And this applies to the adults as well. It's not a trivial phrase. The actual physical movement of the body, the smiling, all of that is a therapeutic exercise.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to ask anything or make a comment? Yes, Angela.
I just want to say that I think your presentations and your website are very, very particular. They have a heart that some websites that are maybe bigger and have more supporters don't quite have. And I like the way at the beginning you juxtaposed Turkey and Gaza. You did it so dispassionately, and the situation of the ignoring of Gaza is so horrendous. And you said you thought people were ignoring Palestine even more. I mean, happily that is not my impression. When I first got involved in 2011, when nobody spoke about Gaza. Now there are actually groups everywhere, but maybe the European Union and our own government is always in retreat, and they're not picking up the obvious. And it's so distressing. And when I see your films with the ways in which you conduct therapy, there are just so many groups here where I am in Stoke-on-Trent who would benefit from just that kind of personalized enjoyment, fulfilling, we're happy for a moment therapy. So all power to you, and I just need to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Angela, and thank you to Samud Palestine, because they've done some marvelous work as well. I think it's up to our small groups now. The political level has always been pretty bad, and it's terrible now. But I think you're right, on a grassroots level, there is growing interest. And I noticed that in 2021, after the May bombardment, there were huge meetings. I went to two in St. Albans, actually, to give talks. And there were loads of young people who had been alerted by that horror. And I think that will grow. And if they can have these small groups like ours to turn to, I think that will give the kind of solidarity that people in Gaza really need at the moment, because they can't look upwards, they can't look at their own leadership, and they can't look at the leadership of Europe and America to support them, never mind Israel. What about the Arab countries? They're an absolute disgrace. But I do believe in the power of small groups networking. And I think this is what we're managing to do a little bit here. It's succeeding brilliantly with Mohammed's online therapist groups across several Arab countries. Hundreds of them are tuning into those Arabic sessions, because those populations, even the poor ones, are tech savvy, and they use that technology to connect with each other. So here's to ordinary people and networking. Hillary.
Hello, David. Well, I'd just like to say, us ordinary people in St. Albans, we've spoken with our Liberal Democrat MP. We've kind of tried to push that as far as we can, and we raised the case of Ahmad Manazra, who you mentioned, the UK Palestine Mental Health Network. We've tried to keep mentioning things which are in the news, and I wondered if you feel you've got any. If you've got an ear with your MPs, any of them. I mean, we've asked quite often for letters to be passed to the Foreign Secretary, which we know has happened. That doesn't actually take the MP any time, really, if they just pass it on. But the minister has to write back to our MP, and so that at least the subject's gone across their desk. It hasn't been handled by a person lower down in an office who works for the minister. Any comments?
Yeah, I happened to meet the Palestinian ambassador, Hassan Zomlot, a week or so ago. There was a meeting in Luton, which I'm sure Hillary knew about, and he was speaking about this very point. He said nothing is too how can I put it? Don't think of anything being small or insignificant. If you just send a letter, if you just do, pass on the Palestine Solidarity Campaign message, anything is helpful, because it's cumulative if enough of you do it. So he's very keen on these small gestures. Incidentally, he was very keen on us. We've got an open invitation to go and see him at the embassy, which is rather nice. He's very impressive, incidentally. I'm sure you've come across some of his interviews on television. So I think everything we do has some effect. Dinny.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that the small groups here, we get our strength from the combination we have with the projects there and with the personnel there. And they're the people who inspire us to keep going. So I'd want to say a very special thank you to the staff in Palestine Trauma Center in Gaza, because they are our inspiration, and they're the ones who help us to keep going in our small ways.
Mohammed, are you still there? I'm going to ask Dr.
Yes,
can you translate that? Can you say what Dinny has just said to our friends in Gaza, please?
Dinny, can you say this again? Because I tried to let Saeed start his seminar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dr. Omar.
Dr. Omar.
Yeah.
طبعا تحكي لكم كثير احنا معجبين بشغلكم في غزه، واحنا بناخذ الهامنا ودافعيه لنا من الفريق في غزه ومن مركز البي تي سي في غزه، فبتامل انه تستمروا Okay. Okay.
You keep us strong. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Shukran.
Well, we've had a good hour of discussion. If anybody would like to make another comment or ask another question, please do so. Is there anything at all you would like to say or ask?
Dr. Mohammed and David, it's been 10 years since I first met you.
Wow.
In that time, I have been ill myself, and I come and I go, but I'm still here. And I feel very privileged and humble to be here with you today. I send out anything I can all over Facebook. There are many groups who know about Palestine Trauma Center and Days of Joy. It's what I can do. And I look forward to talking with Reem about possibilities. Thank you.
Yep, I've got a note of that, Chris.
You are very, very big friend to us. And when we see you, no matter what's happened to us and no matter what's the health issues we are facing, we see, oh, we get really good resilience when we see you, Chris, and keep up and keep positive. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank Jerry, since he's here, who was one of the people who set up the focusing project. Indeed, had a perilous trip to Gaza to help do that.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice, yeah. Twice.
I'm astounded at where the Gaza team have taken focusing and how much they use it in their work, and just real credit to the team in Gaza for keeping going through so many wars and occupations and the blockade. I think it's impressive.
Thank you very much. If there's no other comment or question, I will draw the meeting to a close and recommend you to have a look at our website, which I introduced you to. Hopefully we will have a virtual exhibition which we'll be able to pass around later this year of wonderful photographs. But thanks to all of you for turning up. It's really great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.